Merry Christmas. It's Christmas Day when this one's going to be played. The Pittsburgh Steelers at the Houston Texans. But for me, I feel like the Grinch. Bah humbug after last week's ending to the Steeler game. Guys, this is going to be Bryan's best bet. I'm going to go to you, Preston. The last 2 minutes of the game last week with Pittsburgh and New England was the most gut-wrenching as a fan, okay? And I'll be honest, I actually had money on New England minus 2.5, had a bet on them. And I wanted to lose my bet, obviously, at the end of that game because of the Steelers, as much as I love them. But how do they pick themselves up off of such a massive game? Everybody had been pointing to this game for weeks. This was going to be the showdown. They finally devised a defense that worked for 3.5 quarters. And
now they have to devise the Gronk defense. But until then, they were good.
Right. Did you notice, and I know you talk about it in college football, what like Bronco Mendenhall does his they were the Steelers came
they went
out,
man and
they went man,
did.
but they ran the 3-3-5, and then in some of the sets they ran a 3-2-6 defense last week, and they ran the most man-to-man coverages that they've done all season in that game, and it worked for 3.5 quarters until Gronk just went crazy on that last drive. But at the end of the game, to lose it the way they did, I don't know how you pick this up and then lose Antonio Brown to boot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to add is Brown's not going to be playing. Hopefully he's okay as far as the playoffs go.
They're saying that he should be back for the playoffs. They lose James Conner as well.
Yep.
Not as big a factor, obviously, but he's the guy that's the change of pace back because we know how Le'Veon Bell does the stutter step and everything. When they spell Bell, he's a great change because he's a quick hitter to the line.
Who's that guy? I'm putting you guys on the spot now that they drafted last year out of the MAC, maybe out of Toledo, like a 3rd or 4th string running back out of the MAC. He was on the Steelers last year. I don't know if he's still there.
Well, that Kansas City drafted the guy from Toledo.
Yeah, not Kareem Hunt. He was a rookie last season. Yeah. All right, well, everyone's going to look at this video now.
Yeah,
what's going on? For me, I think there's no way you could bet Pittsburgh. I mean, unless this number got so out of hand, it's a really weird spot for them. There's no incentive of winning the game. I don't think they're going to drop to the 3 seed if they do lose.
Actually, there is because they only have a 1-game lead on Jacksonville. Now, the beauty
and they lost to them in that one game where they
5 interception by Ben.
Good call.
So but they're going to have the luxury of knowing what Jacksonville did on Sunday. Because if Jacksonville loses one game, Pittsburgh just has to win one of the remaining 2 to lock it up. And they have, who did they play the last game of the season?
Owen.
Yeah.
0-16.
Cleveland Browns. I'm hoping the Browns get their win this week in Chicago so that they're out partying for the whole week.
I hope they go 0-16 so I can fly back to Cleveland and go to the party.
First-round draft pick that they'll screw up again?
Trade it away. Trade it away to somebody who's willing to give it.
What do you make of this one? I know you hate my Steelers.
First off, I want to let everybody know the reason I wore camouflage today is if I lose any of these 2 bets, my name is Ralph Michaels. But you take a look, and I talked about the first halves. The Steelers have been outgained in the first half in yards per play in the last 4 straight games, 5 out of the last 6. So they're setting themselves up. They should have been running more against New England. That's the whole thing. When you're playing a team that doesn't stop the run and stops the pass, you take advantage of what they give you, and they didn't do that. And they've played down to their competition all year long. They're 0-3 in games where they're road favorites of 7 or more. Do you know how much they've outscored the opposition in those 3 games combined? 2 points. They played 3 terrible teams on the road. One of them had to go to overtime, but they outscored the opposition by combined 2 points in those 3 games. There's no way I want the Steelers here. I don't have any good reason to play Houston other than this is a play against the Steelers and the way they lost that game. If you're still talking about it now, just imagine what the players do.
You looking at first half then, too, potentially?
First half play would be an excellent play, and you're going to get probably a better line for the
right, it'll be inflated a
little. Actually, I like to play home dogs in the first half anyway. Especially if you're getting key numbers of 3, 4.
Especially with a standalone game like this on Monday, they're playing the 2 games on Christmas Day. I don't know how much of a home crowd on Christmas Day for a team that's been out of the playoffs for some time when the season blew up when Deshaun Watson went out. but, you know, that's factored.
It is their final game, and a lot of teams will have certain things going on in your final home game of the season. I haven't looked into that.
But Christmas Day still makes
Christmas
it a little tough. The one thing I'm going to point out, and obviously Antonio Brown, big deficit for the Steelers, but they are getting somebody back this week. Joe Hayden is coming back to the defense. He practiced last week, and for part of the week, they thought he was going to be able to go against New England last week. He just couldn't get enough reps, but they're talking that he will be back in the lineup. Will he be 100%? No, but it's going to help the secondary. But I don't know that Houston has anybody that can get to the ball to the secondary.
I don't agree with that. The guy, he had a broken leg, and now he's coming back for 2 games that really don't mean a whole lot. He could easily get hurt.
They got to get that bye. They got to get that first-round bye to give
playoffs.
Antonio Brown another week off. Because if they get the number 2 seed, you got the bye. You're going to have a home game.
Besides, what's the big deal? This was a guy who got cut by the Browns. How good could he be?
I think he wanted out of Cleveland. All right, there you go. Bryan says to take Houston plus the points. I can't disagree with him. It's a very tough spot for my Steelers. I expect a heavy dose of Le'Veon Bell this week. Try to shorten the game as well. Guys, check out. It's Monday. There's other games that on Christmas Day. You can get them all. WagerTalk.com. Each and every Monday, it's Manic Monday. We put up every play on the site on Mondays for just $9. Check it out, WagerTalk.com. We'll be back with more here at WagerTalk.